And we're sitting in the ACOR director's apartment. This has been a place since 1986 where 4 long-term directors have resided and presided over this institution, in everyone in their different ways. I had the privilege to come in 1977 and excavate in the Jordan Valley. That's when I first met some of the people that have been introduced in this program, like Abu Ahmed Mohammed Adawi, who was the chef already then. Actually, he'd been the chef for 10 years.
بدأت في هذا المركز من سنة 68 للآن ولا زلت أعمل. هذا المركز بدأ في 68 عبارة عن شقة صغيرة.
In the early 1980s, we decided that renting a property and having a library and having housing wasn't the right thing to do. We really needed our own building. So Prince Raad found some property for us. And then the community, mainly the board, got together and said, we're going to make this happen, and we're going to get the community behind it.
The stone breaking ceremony was in 1984, and I don't know why David McRae had to choose the coldest day in winter. I froze, I literally froze.
كبر المركز، صار في مكتبة، صار في مختبرات، صار في باحثين يجوا وطلاب.
ACOR is really good about offering scholarships, fellowships to a wide variety of disciplines, so that we have people coming to ACOR and staying at ACOR that are studying the democracy in Jordan, studying languages, writing reports on women's rights, studying all kinds of things. And so it's fun to come here for lunch and learn what people are talking about.
I came to Jordan first on an ACOR fellowship in 1978. I became the director of excavations at Ain Ghazal. ACOR was our live-in laboratory. We would bring the artifacts and the animal bone and the bags of dirt and everything and store it in ACOR. And when people had finished eating dinner at night, we would wash all of the artifacts in the kitchen sink. In 1983, we found a group of statues, plaster statues, and one of the intriguing things was that the facial cosmetics, if you will, of those statues mimicked what we found on the plastered skulls of real people. I have to say that when I first saw the first face of that statue, literally the hair on the back of my neck stood on end. It was a fabulous kind of discovery. When that happened, Jordan's prehistoric archaeology was put on the international map. Ain Ghazal might not have ever come to public awareness. If ACOR had not brought me over, it's very likely the site would have been destroyed. ACOR has been sort of the leader in expanding the interest in the archaeology of Jordan, whether it's for tourism purposes or if it's for simply archaeologists to talk to other archaeologists.
The best way to think of ACOR is the fact that it has interpersonal relationships with scholars, with subjects, but also the big emphasis on community.
Traditional archaeological projects may pay some attention to the community, but the focus is really on collecting data for publication and promoting the project of archaeology in general as an academic discipline, and of course advancing up the ladder of academic rank and all of that. But gradually, ACOR began to serve the local community, but really the local academic world, by offering field schools in the growing archaeology program at the University of Jordan.
So I think ACOR's mission in Jordan has evolved very much as archaeology in this part of the world has evolved. And I think what we see at the Temple of the Winged Lions is now we're at the vanguard of really a new effort to sort of involve the local community and the host communities much more directly at the everyday level of site preservation and site conservation. And so ever since then, I've taken that with me and sort of been invested in making sure that we continue that real coordination and collaboration with the local community that makes this project so special.
ACOR opened up its library to the local community. It's somewhat unusual, I think, in foreign research institutes to have that, but ACOR has an open door policy.
ACOR really is a unique place to be in. You can see how researchers are doing their work or how graduate students, Jordanian even. ACOR provide help for any educational programs to anyone, regardless of any nationality you are carrying.
With all the photography that I was able to do, before I converted to digital cameras, I had amassed a fairly large collection of several thousand slides. So physically, the slides take up quite a bit of space. I asked the people at ACOR if they would consider taking on my photographic archive, and indeed they were interested to do that. And I was very happy with this because I know that whatever ACOR takes on, they do with tremendous detail and work on it to make sure that it is going to be something that is going to make a difference.
One of the things that we have to be really mindful of is the chance to make sure that everything we've done has been published and taken care of. So for me, one of the most exciting recent endeavors is an archival project, which allows us to, right now, be responsible and responsive to several fantastic photo archives we have. ACOR has now, since 2002, published 4 volumes called the Petra Papyri. By the end of this year, it'll be the 5th volume. This group of papyri found in the Petra Church have rewritten the history of Petra, essentially. It's shown that in the 6th century, there were very wealthy people there whose wealth came from their agricultural lands, and we can put the people back into the whole landscape. Those people were never there before. Of these documents, you can hear about fights and disputes and over land, over things, but you can also learn about dowries and endowments to churches and hospitals. So you can learn so much about the people themselves, including about the wills and how they would deal with property rights. So in those 60-year period that these very well-dated papyri reflect, we can learn so much about what happened in the 6th century in Petra. So this group of people dedicated, many of them, the last 25 years of their lives. But every single thing that they've done has put the people back into the past. Without their careful consideration of literally every single word that is represented and still preserved in those texts, we wouldn't be able to know about what Petra was like in the 6th century. They have recreated that world for us. So USAID has actually played a role from the very outset of ACOR's history. So all the things that we've achieved in Jordan in terms of cultural resource management, projects that have to do with very specific sites, be it the Eman Citadel or the Madaba Archaeological Park or the Petra Church. None of these could have been done without the funding of USAID.
Happy 50, ACOR.
Happy 50, ACOR.
ACOR Happy 50.
ACOR Happy 50. ACOR Happy 50.
And happy ACOR at 50.
So truly ACOR, happy 50. Thank you.